I planned on it if she wouldn't let me see it. At some point, I was going to sneak in. But she'd, like, smell me, my sister. My sister would be like, my brother's here.
Hollywood is full of secrets, but this one's been hiding in plain sight. Some of the biggest stars you watch on screen are actually brothers, and most people have no clue. We're talking Alisters, Oscar winners, and action heroes who share the same blood but took completely different paths to fame. Ready to have your mind blown 15 times? Which brother pair do you already know will make the list? Join us as we unveil 15 brothers you had no idea were related. Number 15. Wait, they're brothers? You'd never guess these two Hollywood guys are brothers just by their names. Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen share the same father, Martin Sheen, but took very different paths. Both were born Estevez, yet fame pushed them in opposite directions. Emilio kept the family name, wanting to honor his roots while building his own lane. In the 80s, he joined the Brat Pack, that crew of young stars who ruled teen cinema. The Breakfast Club made him famous. St. Elmo's Fire proved his depth, and the Mighty Ducks turned him into a family favorite. He wasn't chasing fame, just good stories that felt real. Charlie, meanwhile, took his dad's stage name and leaned into the spotlight. Platoon made him a serious actor. Wall Street defined the 80s, and 2.5 Men made him one of TV's biggest earners. His chaos often outshined his craft. Emilio is calm and steady. Charlie burns fast and bright. Two brothers, same roof, same legacy. But that's just the start. You think different last names are wild? Wait until you hear about the brothers who ruled Broadway before one of them showed up on Riverdale. Number 14. Theater kids who conquered different worlds. Casey and Corey Cott might not be Hollywood giants, but their talent is undeniable. Both began in theater, the real deal, where there's no second take, just lights, nerves, and raw performance. They can sing, act, and own a stage like they were born for it. Casey, the older brother, became a Broadway force. His breakout as Jack Kelly in Newsies wowed critics, showcasing a powerhouse voice and rare emotional depth. Then came Bandstand, where he played a World War II veteran searching for purpose. His performances weren't just acting, they were pure storytelling, alive with truth and heart. Corey took a different route, stepping from stage to screen. His role as Kevin Keller on Riverdale stood out, warm, real, and groundbreaking for teen TV. What binds the Cott brothers isn't fame, but loyalty. Corey calls Casey his mentor, and when they perform together, it's magic. Speaking of cool, the next brothers took that quality and turned it into a worldwide hit that changed what it means to be a movie star. Number 13. The Scandinavia to Hollywood pipeline. If talent ran through blood like DNA, the Skarsgård family would have bottled it up and sold it by now. Bill and Alexander are two of Stellan Skarsgård's 6 sons who followed their dad into acting. Stellan made his mark with Good Will Hunting and Mamma Mia, but his sons took the name Global. Alexander, the older one, hit fame with True Blood, playing Eric Northman, a 1,000-year-old vampire who oozed danger and charm. He brought this cold European edge to American TV, making vampires feel stylish again. Then came Big Little Lies, where he played Perry Wright, polished on the outside, monstrous underneath. That Emmy win sealed it. He proved he wasn't just another good-looking face. The Northman pushed him to the edge physically, transforming into a Viking driven by revenge. Later, Succession gave him Lucas Mattsson, a tech mogul so confident it was almost unnerving. Bill walked into darker shadows. His version of Pennywise in It terrified a whole generation. Under the clown makeup, He turned horror into art, physical, eerie, alive. That role brought in hundreds of millions and gave nightmares a new face. Still, they're not rivals, just brothers who tease and show up for each other. But Scandinavian success stories aren't the only international wins. The next brothers came from the Australian outback and became two of the biggest action stars on Earth. Number 12. Before they were Thor and Gale. When Hollywood needs a hero, it often calls a Hemsworth, and there are three of them. Chris, Liam, and Luke grew up in Melbourne, Australia, far from fame. Their mom taught English, their dad worked in social services, and the boys spent their days surfing, wrestling, and causing the kind of chaos only brothers can. Chris broke out first as Thor, the hammer-wielding god who became Marvel's beating heart. His 2011 debut made him a global star. He gave Thor humor, depth, and soul, evolving the hero from cocky warrior to cosmic legend while keeping that easy Aussie charm. Liam followed with The Hunger Games, turning heads as Gale Hawthorne and stepping into blockbuster territory. Luke, the eldest, found his stride on TV, notably in Westworld, where his quiet strength shone through. Despite the fame, the Hemsworths stay grounded. No rivalry, just brothers backing each other all the way. Speaking of legacy, the next father and son pair proves that sometimes greatness really does skip down through families, or in this case, passes down perfectly. Number 11. Dad from Independence Day has a Hollywood son. If you grew up in the 90s, Bill Pullman's face is hard to forget. The steady president from Independence Day, the sweet guy in While You Were Sleeping, and the small-town sheriff who reminded everyone that decency still mattered. He was the quiet hero of that era, the kind that didn't need explosions to win you over. His son, Louis Pullman, has been building something of his own. No shortcuts, no famous last-name boost. He started in tiny indie projects, the kind barely anyone saw, and learned his craft the hard way. His breakout came with Bad Times at the El Royale in 2018, where he played a jittery bellboy with hidden depth. People started paying attention. Then came Top Gun, Maverick in 2022. Lewis played Bob Floyd, the calm weapons officer who let his confidence do the talking. In a movie full of noise and speed, he brought balance and charm. Outer Range showed another side, mixing sci-fi with Western grit. He doesn't chase fame, just roles that challenge him. What's beautiful is the respect between father and son, with Bill cheering him on and Lewis still studying his dad's work. But not every Hollywood family keeps their connection quiet. The next brothers are so close, they've built entire social media accounts around embarrassing each other. Number 10. Captain America's secret weapon. When you hear the name Evans, you probably picture Captain America. That clean-cut jawline, the perfect shield toss. The man who became Marvel's moral compass. Chris Evans turned Steve Rogers into a legend, starring in film after film and earning hundreds of millions along the way. But behind the superhero spotlight is another Evans quietly doing his thing. Scott Evans, Chris's younger brother, started in daytime television on One Life to Live, playing a gay character long before that kind of representation was common. He brought honesty to the role, pulling from his own life as an openly gay actor in Hollywood. From there, he found a niche in Netflix comedies like Grace and Frankie, where his charm and timing made him stand out. He's not out saving the universe, but he's built a career that feels real, funny, heartfelt, and grounded. The brothers are still tight. Their banter online is pure gold. Childhood photos, off-key singing clips, non-stop teasing. Chris calls Scott his favorite person, and it's easy to see why. Just two Boston guys raised on good values, still showing up for Sunday dinners, making each other laugh. In a business built on image, they keep it human. And some Hollywood families take that dynamic and multiply it by comedy genius. Number 9. The Franco Paradox. The Franco brothers feel like they come from the same family, but live in totally different worlds. James, the older one, has always been the wild card, part actor, part artist, part enigma. He's done it all: superhero flicks, art house projects, directing, teaching, painting, writing poetry, and even juggling multiple grad schools while shooting films. From Spider-Man's Harry Osborn to his Oscar-nominated turn in 127 Hours, James has always danced on that line between brilliance and eccentricity. Dave Franco took a softer, more grounded path. He broke through with Now You See Me, all charm and quick wit, then showed off his comedy chops in 21 Jump Street. The after-party proved he could lead a show effortlessly. While James chased complexity and meaning, Dave leaned into warmth, timing, and that easy, approachable charisma that wins people over quietly. Even with their differences, there's mutual admiration. Dave once said watching James work made him take acting seriously, even as he tried to step out of his shadow. James calls Dave's presence natural and honest, things he sometimes wishes he had. Together in The Disaster Artist, their real-life bond came alive on screen. Speaking of interesting home stories, the next brother and sister played siblings on screen before anyone knew they actually were. Number 8. Played siblings before anyone knew they were siblings. Before they were Hollywood names, Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal were just two kids hanging around film sets. Their dad, Stephen Gyllenhaal, directed movies, and their mom, Naomi Foner, wrote scripts, so the business was basically their family language. They grew up surrounded by cameras, learning storytelling before they even learnt it long division. But what's fascinating isn't just that they're both talented, it's how differently they've handled that spotlight. Maggie, the older by 3 years, dived into indie cinema. Her breakout in Secretary showed she wasn't scared to take on bold, messy roles that made people squirm a little. Then, The Dark Knight made her part of blockbuster history as Rachel Dawes, a part she filled with unexpected depth. Maggie's always picked projects that push limits, choosing art over comfort, honesty over polish. Jake went the darker route. Donnie Darko made him the poster boy for offbeat cinema, a kid tangled in fate and madness. Brokeback Mountain turned him into a serious actor, while Nightcrawler and Prisoners proved his obsession with transformation, losing weight, gaining muscle, whatever it took. Their first movie together, Donnie Darko, feels poetic now. Real siblings playing siblings in a story about destiny. If you think indie success is impressive, up next are Texas boys who built their careers on loyalty and survived Hollywood's darkest moments together. Number 7. Texas boys who built careers on loyalty. Before Hollywood knew them as the Wilson brothers, Owen and Luke were just two kids from Texas with wild imaginations. They grew up in Dallas, making their own fun, turning boredom into little movies and sketches before they even knew what filmmaking really was. Their big break came with Bottle Rocket in 1996, a scrappy indie Wes Anderson film about 3 friends pulling off a low-budget heist. Owen co-wrote the script with Wes, and Luke played one of the buddies. That natural, funny, real chemistry between them, you can't fake that on screen. Owen, with his crooked nose and offbeat timing, became the charming everyman. Wedding Crashers made him a comedy icon, and Midnight in Paris showed his heart and range. He's that actor who can make you laugh and tear up in one breath. Luke, on the other hand, has this strength about him. In Old School and The Royal Tenenbaums, he played characters who grounded the chaos around them. He's never loud about his craft, just consistent and good. Through the highs and lows, these brothers have stuck together. And speaking of brothers in Boston, the next pair proves that sometimes taking opposite roads leads to the same place. Number 6. The Boston Brothers. Few siblings in Hollywood have that quiet kind of brilliance like Ben and Casey Affleck. They grew up in Cambridge, Massachusetts, two kids who believed stories could change everything. Their mom filled the house with old movies, and they'd grab a camera and shoot homemade films with neighborhood friends. Matt Damon lived just down the street, so the three of them spent their childhoods dreaming up scenes and chasing the same wild ambition. Ben hit the spotlight first. He co-wrote Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon in 1997 and walked away with an Oscar before he turned 25. Then came Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Gone Girl, and his gritty turn as Batman. When he directed Argo and won Best Picture in 2012, it proved he wasn't just a star, he was a real filmmaker. Casey took the quieter route. He stayed in the background, building his craft slowly. His work in The Assassination of Jesse James showed how powerful silence could be, and Manchester by the Sea earned him an Oscar for that raw, broken performance. Their journeys haven't been smooth, but the bond remains. But Boston isn't the only city that produces Oscar-winning siblings. The next pair changed an entire genre and opened doors for generations. Number 5. When laughter became revolutionary. Before Hollywood crowned them comedy royalty, Keenan Ivory and Shawn Wayans were just two brothers daring to flip the script. Keenan, the mastermind, kicked things off in 1990 with In Living Color, a bold, unfiltered sketch show that redefined television. It wasn't just funny, it was sharp, fearless, and full of truth. The show launched careers for Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, and Jennifer Lopez, all while giving a voice to stories Hollywood ignored. Shawn followed with his own flavor of comedy. The Wayans brothers sitcom showed off their chemistry. Then Scary Movie turned parody into pure box office gold, over $278 million worldwide. White Chicks came next, turning wild humor into a cultural moment. Together, they built more than a brand. They created a movement that was fearless, smart, and unapologetically black. Keenan brings the vision. Shawn brings the energy. Together, they changed comedy forever. But not all Hollywood siblings use words to communicate. The next brothers let their art speak so loudly, they barely need to say anything at all. Number 4. Art-talking brothers. When you hear the name Fiennes, you instantly think of intensity, and that's no coincidence. Ralph and Joseph Fiennes grew up in Suffolk, England, in a home that breathed creativity. Their mother, Jennifer Lash, was a novelist, and their father, Mark Fiennes, a photographer. Out of 6 siblings, it was Ralph and Joseph who turned family imagination into cinematic gold. Ralph, the elder, made his mark with Schindler's List in 1993, playing Amon Goeth, a performance so chilling it earned him an Oscar nod. Then came The English Patient and, of course, Lord Voldemort in Harry Potter. Every role feels like contained lightning, quiet, dangerous, unforgettable. Joseph took a softer route. His breakout in Shakespeare in Love turned him into a thoughtful romantic lead, while The Handmaid's Tale proved he could explore dark, conflicted characters. Together, the Fiennes brothers embody everything great acting should be. But reserved isn't a word anyone would use to describe the next family. Number 3. The Baldwin Era. Before Hollywood had the Hemsworths, it had the Baldwins, 4 brothers who practically owned the screen in the 80s and 90s. Daniel, William, Stephen, and Alec all went into acting, but it was Alec and Stephen who stood out most. Alec became the heavyweight. The Hunt for Red October made him an action star, and 30 Rock turned him into a comedy legend, earning him multiple Emmys. Then came The Departed, proof he could command any genre. He's the kind of actor who can shift from charm to chaos in a single line, adored by audiences, feared by critics. Stephen was the rebel. The Usual Suspects showed his range, while Biodome proved he didn't mind being ridiculous. Later, faith reshaped his path, steering him towards smaller, personal projects. They've had their clashes, sure, but underneath it all, there's deep respect. 2 brothers who took very different roads, yet never stopped being family. And speaking of golden ages, the next brothers represent something Hollywood rarely produces anymore. Number 2. Hollywood royalty. Few Hollywood families carry a legacy quite like the Bridges brothers. Born to Lloyd Bridges, the star of Sea Hunt, Jeff and Bo practically learned to act before they could drive. Their dad took them on set, showing them that real acting came from truth, not ego. Both brothers grew up with that same lesson, and they've spent decades proving it. Bo, the elder, started young and became one of Hollywood's most respected character actors. From the Fabulous Baker Boys to The Descendants, his work always carried quiet strength and warmth. 60 years on, he's still one of the most trusted names in the business. Jeff, born 8 years later, turned The Big Lebowski's Dude into pop culture history. Then Crazy Heart brought him an Oscar, and True Grit showed his range again. Through cancer, fame, and family, Bo's always been by his side. Together, they define timeless artistry and brotherhood. But not every Hollywood story has a happy ending. The final brothers on this list share the most heartbreaking and beautiful story of them all. Number 1. One brother lighting the path. Before Joaquin Phoenix became the haunted genius behind Joker, there was River, the bright flame Hollywood lost too soon. The Phoenix brothers came from chaos, a family that once sang on street corners to survive after escaping a cult. Out of that struggle came 2 artists the world would never forget. River was the first to rise. Stand By Me and My Own Private Idaho turned him into a symbol of raw, unfiltered emotion. He wasn't acting, he was living every scene. Then, at just 23, he collapsed outside the Viper Room in Los Angeles. Joaquin was there, begging for help as his brother slipped away. After that night, Joaquin disappeared from the spotlight. Years later, he returned with a quiet fury. Walked the line, her Joker. Each role felt like a conversation with River. A tribute. One brother's light carried forward by another, turning grief into unforgettable art. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave nice comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting content. Check out another interesting video by clicking on the video appearing on your screen right now.